Hello everybody and welcome back yet again to another drum playthrough review. Thank you all for tuning in and stopping by. For everybody who's brand new, hello and welcome. Glad to have you here. My name is Nick. I like to play drums, play guitar, play bass. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, if you will. And I also like to do a lot of mixing and mastering on songs. And the reason why we do these videos is because it's important for us to break down the technique of people who are better than us, people who are more famous than us, and people who have overall had a longer drumming career. So that way we can learn the do's and do nots of drum techniques. Break it down to a much more easier to digest form and use that so that way we can make ourselves better musicians. So this is a band. This is certainly a band. So this is a band that I've seen that they're pretty big within my particular sphere of music taste, you know, as one would say, technical death metal, I guess you could say. Slam, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Their drummer is very interesting, and I've seen many different videos from their drummer and different playthroughs. He's definitely interesting, I'll give you that. So, the band that we're checking out today, very interesting band. They're a band called Despised Icon. Despised Icon has been around for a long time, a very, very long time. And they're known for a lot of really crazy stuff, and also for having a very toxic fan base. But we don't like to talk about that. We're talking about the drummer today. So I just found his name. His name is Alex Grind. This guy's been playing drums for them for a little while now, and he is very, very quick. He's very, very fast. He's very technical, per se, as I guess one could say. But he's known for a lot of speed and a lot of chops and all that stuff. So anyway, this is a 3-year-old video. This is Despised Icon's song, Unbreakable, and this is a drum playthrough. It's on Nuclear Blast Records page, so if you want to go check out the original, it can be found there. But we're going to check out this playthrough. We're going to see what kind of stuff this guy has to offer. I am interested to see what kind of stuff he is doing because it's been a while since I've explored this band's page, and I know he's got some wild technique. He's got a lot of wild stuff that he does behind the kit, so I feel like it can be very interesting, and I feel like we might be able to learn some things from this guy. So who knows? We'll go into it with an open mindset. We'll see what we can find out from this guy. Okay, with all that being said, y'all, let's get right into the video. And it just opens right up. A lot of sponsors. All right. Jumping right into it. You guys see his bell angle right there, right? Right at the top in between those two toms? That's weird. Okay, hold on. What is with those blocks underneath of his pedal boards? Are you serious? What is that? He looks very stiff playing this. The bell fills are cool, I'll give him that. He's like leaning way over to hit it. That's just... This is like watching Animal, the drummer. It looks like he's using some sort of a push-pull. I'm just very confused by what's going on. Good lord. He's got everything angled like this away from him. Not sure exactly the technical aspect for that, but I mean, I don't understand it. I mean, does he think it's a better attack? Because it doesn't. Double strokes. He looks like he's struggling to play this. Okay, I'm just confused. I am just confused. Everything's just angled away from him. I don't understand that. And then his bass drums are on... Like, his bass drum pedals are on, like, little plastic blocks. I don't know what they are. I don't know what that is. Is he just too short to sit down on his throne and play drums like that? I mean, this one looks legit, though. It doesn't look like that he's, like, faking anything. He just looks very stiff playing it. I mean, this is a cool beat, though. I'm just overall confused, guys. I don't know exactly what to think about that one. All right. Where do I begin? For reference, this is my first time seeing this video. Usually I like to watch the videos a couple times first before I jump into it, just so that way I can give a more concise review and something that's a little bit more accurate. But I don't know I don't know what came to my mind for this one. I was just like, yeah, let me just watch this one first time. I don't know. I should be able to break it down. Apparently not. So let's attempt to break down what's going on in this video. So for one, obviously, for his snare technique that he was using, people will be like, oh, what's he doing with this thing, like stick, as he's using it? It can look really confusing. That's a technique that's known as push-pull. Push-pull is a technique in which you utilize the weight of the stick and also leverage as well in order to cause the stick to move like a pendulum. So that way it can cause consistent motion while at the same time creating even strokes. So that way everything's all evenly powered and all that. It's an interesting way to achieve speed and power as well. It's very interesting. It's something that's definitely a little bit different than, say, for example, wrist technique or like finger technique or anything like that. So it definitely is, it's not super common, at least anymore. Most people use either one or the other, but it's becoming a little bit more popular with certain drummers in the extreme metal genre. Obviously for his bass drums, he was using full leg motion as well as double strokes, the cheater's method for double strokes, as we like to call it, which isn't really a cheater's method. It's just a smarter way to do it. Let's just be honest. He's relying on the rebound from the pedal board in order to be able to spring off that second hit from the bass drum pedal, which is very useful. It's very handy to be able to learn how to do that. But it's called the cheater's method because usually the original way to do double strokes was done so that way you had to hit your heel first and then hit your toes afterward on the ball of the foot. And now that there's a more inventive way to do it, they call that new way the cheater stroke. And it doesn't mean you're cheating if you use it. It's whatever works the best for you. It looked, honestly, a lot of his performance, it looked kind of stiff. I'll just be honest with you. He didn't look exactly very loose or anything like that. He looked like trying to get as much power as he could out of the performance. It looked a little bit tense, I'm going to be honest with you. That's not exactly something you want to be looking for. You want to keep very loose when you're playing. You want to make sure that you're staying very loose. If it's a higher tempo, you want to make sure you're exceptionally loose when you do it, because that's what's going to allow you to achieve that high speed as well as stay injury-free during your time drumming. So obviously the song is very technical. There's a lot of stuff that he's doing in there, not necessarily rudiment fills or anything like that, but it's all very high speed, very high technicality, very fast cymbal chokes, very interesting, intricate bell fills and all that, which I do like. I like that kind of stuff. There's definitely a lot of things that are going on in there that are very usable and very applicable to your drumming style as well. So what are some things that we can learn from this? Well, for one, if you're having trouble achieving certain speeds, try out different methods to achieve those speeds. You don't always have to play finger technique, and you don't always have to play something like wrist technique or anything like that. You don't even have to go by molar technique or anything like that, whipping motion or anything. You can try out stuff like push-pull. You can try out stuff like gravity blasts and whatnot. Whatever's going to help you achieve that speed and achieve that sound, as long as it's clean, go for it, buddy. As long as you're not going to get an injury from it, as long as you're going to achieve that speed and that power that you're looking for, and it's going to be consistent and something you can pull off every time, the technique is valid. We may not even have a name for it yet, per se, if you come up with something brand new, but it is still something that is valid that you can use constantly, and it is something that you can allow yourself to be able to achieve certain speeds with. Now, obviously, his bass drum sounded very clean, so that is something that you do have to practice a whole lot. When it comes to anything involving double bass drumming or anything like that, especially with double strokes, a lot of that requires practice. So make sure you start off practicing slow. Get the motions down, get all the basic movements down, and get that worked into your muscle memory. So that way you can go ahead, when it comes time to actually perform the technique, be able to perform it perfectly every time and not have any issues. Honestly, though, this drum performance kind of left me feeling a little bit confused just because of the amount of stuff that was going on in that. It was a lot of high speed, it looked very tense, and a lot of interesting setup on the drums. I am not sure exactly the textile used for having your cymbals pointed this way away from you, because here's the thing. It doesn't achieve a different sound or anything like that, and it doesn't change the attack on the cymbals or anything, or even on the drums. So I'm not exactly sure why the snare drum is faced away from him like this and why the cymbals are all faced away from him like this. If anything, honestly, it's going to be more harmful to your cymbals and more harmful to your sticks as well. You're going to break more sticks that way. But I mean, hey, if you find a setup that works for you and you're comfortable playing it and you're comfortable spending extra money on broken cymbals, go for it, bud. That too, and the little plastic blocks that are underneath the freaking drum pedals. Like, I don't know what was up with that. I don't know whether or not this guy's just like too short to be able to reach it or whatnot. I don't know, but that was definitely an interesting sight to see. But yeah, no, that was a good playthrough, man. That wasn't bad at all. Good job on Alex Grind's part. I mean, that was a good playthrough. It was clean. Everything looked legit. It didn't look like there was any type of editing or anything like that involved. It looked pretty good. And with all that being said, y'all, that's gonna be the end of this video. So here's a few things y'all can do to support me. So for one, you can like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the playlist that I have as well with videos very similar to this, and the links that I have down below in my description here that are linked to my band's page and my band's Spotify. And with all that being said, y'all, thank you for tuning in and stopping by. It's been a pleasure to have you, and thanks for sticking around. Hopefully I'll be able to see y'all next week. So cheers, everybody. Have a good one.